Welcome to the show, everyone. You know, this today is going to be a fun show. Not only is it going to be a great show just because of all the people that we have on and the great information for everyone, you get to see me. We've kind of changed up the room in here today because my first guest has been on with me for many times, wanted me to be on her, her segment with her. So now if you go, we're live on Facebook, so I want to say hi to everybody out there, like us and follow us. And if you want to, go ahead and put in Networking Arizona right into Networking Arizona on my Facebook page. You can watch me doing the show in here, doing it live right through the radio to everybody out there. My first guest is Jennifer Stupski, and she's the owner of Legal Stuff. Jennifer, before you came on, I was talking a little bit about you, and I said, you got to talk a little bit about yourself because you're a little different than a lot of the people that do what you do. First of all, I love the name of your company, so tell everybody a little bit about yourself and, what you do and what makes you so different.
I do a lot of things. I'm like a full service entity, anything you need, anywhere you need to go. So I started off in real estate. I've had my real estate license for 25 plus years. Went into estate planning. I'm a licensed legal document preparer. I contract with attorneys and do their probates and trust administrations. I'm also a licensed fiduciary. I am a licensed life insurance agent. I'm a VA claim agent. So whatever anyone needs.
Right, and there's a lot of people out there, especially the last couple of years, that have been thinking about their last will and testaments, right? A lot of people do not get these together, and in the last couple of years, more so than ever. Have you been super busy?
Oh, very busy.
Very busy. You could say that, this is one thing that I think is the most important thing that people need to do, and it's the one thing that most people put their heads in the ground under.
I agree. Not only that, but the power of attorneys are even more important than the last wills, especially with all the strokes and all the Alzheimer's and all the different mental issues we're having.
So here's what we're going to do. First of all, what Jennifer likes to do is to enter everyone into WIN. It's what she calls the last will and testament. It's a package. It's a package that you're going to get. It includes the last will and testament. It includes the durable power of attorney, healthcare power of attorney, mental health care power to the attorney, living will, and beneficiary deed. We needed a couple hours here just to get that out. So everyone's getting entered into WIN that, and that's a $495 value free to you. Anyone else that doesn't win is going to get 30% off, but we want everyone to call and get yourself entered into WIN. This is something everyone should have. I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show. And what she said, this is something interesting, that because I said, mental health power of attorney, do I need that? And you said what? Everybody.
Absolutely.
And everybody should have it.
Absolutely, because of all the mental issues, the strokes, the Alzheimer's, that's not covered by your usual typical healthcare power of attorney.
So this is important. We want people to understand this is the first thing you wanted to talk about today, the importance of having your last will and testament and these papers done.
Correct. I mean, like I was saying, the last will is nice. I mean, if you're just going to leave it to your kids, Arizona law, that's what they do anyway. But those power of attorneys are so important. I mean, it just cost this poor individual almost $15,000 to get a court-appointed conservator because they had no power of attorneys. So most of her estate is going to pay attorneys just to get someone appointed to take care of her financial, situation.
I think a lot of people, Jennifer, think that people need to have a lot of money to need this. And I don't think it has anything to do with money.
Not at all. It just has to do with someone to trust, because something's going to happen. It could happen to any of us as we walk out the door.
Right.
So you want to have everything in place, because if you don't, it's so time-consuming and it's so expensive not to have it set up.
I like to say this because it's so true. When you call Amazon, they have to check who you are before you can get through, right? Well, it's the same thing. If you think it's going to be easy, when, God forbid, you have something that happens to you, it doesn't mean that you're going to die when something happens to you, but you could be incapacitated. That's what this is about.
Exactly.
And how about our children? How old do they need to be?
Over 18.
So anyone over 18 should have this, and Jennifer helps. And what I love about Jennifer, do you can they go to you? Do you go to them? Is it both ways? How do you work now with everyone?
It's both.
So she can come to you if you need. She has made it super simple. And if you need anything regarding having anything signed, right, documents signed, Jennifer's the girl to go to.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you I'm a notary as well.
She's a notary as well. Of course she is. Why not? So you can call here and get entered into win. This is a last will and testament. It has every single paperwork that you could possibly need in it. It's a $495 value, free to you or anyone you know. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. Everyone's going to get entered in to win that, and then anyone else that doesn't win, of course, you're going to give 30% off to anyone that doesn't win. But call in here throughout the rest of the show and get entered in to win this. This is really important. Some of the other things that you wanted to talk about, which is where to store them.
Right, because a lot of people aren't sure. You have to have the original documents. I was going to go back to that last will part. And a lot of people I've been seeing lately are trying to do holographic or just printing something off the internet to do their last will. The problem with that is, when you print it off and you type it in the computer, unless it's witnessed and notarized and all these other parameters, it's not going to be valid and you're going to have to go through the courts.
Let me tell you how much I know about that. So when my dad, I'll just have to tell a story, because anybody can relate to this. My dad, when he passed away, before he passed away, he had written he actually typed it out, and he sent the letter, and he also sent an email. But it wasn't notarized, okay? So guess what? And this was, gosh, I don't know, 8 years ago now, right? Mm-hmm. And guess what? It wasn't anything. I mean, so who lost out? Me. Because you know what? He didn't know.
Right.
And what you don't know, you don't know. That's what I love about the show, is that all this information, when you're listening to this, dust off. Do you do second opinions?
I do.
You have to.
I do.
Right. So, dust them off, get them out. Let's look at them. Make sure that they're done correctly. That would be especially now. There's a new way of doing things. So you said, where do they go for all this?
So we've started a division. It's called the EP Vault. A lot of people, they try to put it in their safes or they lose them, especially when they're in hospitals. When things happen, they don't have the original power of attorneys. Or they get their house broken into. We were just talking about squatters and people stealing your important documents. So we are offering a service. It's called the EP Vault, and it stores all original documents. You've got your own portal online that you can look at them. You can make changes. You can do whatever you do and put who you want to access it when you pass. We'll have like 2 or 3 different security levels where they have to get it, but at least they'll know where it's at and they won't lose them.
So it's called the EP Vault. Now let me tell you, when you go to Jennifer's site, it's really easy to remember. It's legalstuff.com.
Nope, Legal Stuff AZ.
Oh, there's the AZ in it. I forgot. It's been a while. So legalstuffaz.com. You can also call her direct. It's 602-457-2333, or give us a call here. Get entered into win. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Everyone's getting entered into win. This is a last will and testament. It has every single piece of paperwork that you could possibly need on it. And she's going to help you with also putting it in that EP Vault, which is the other thing. You can't just do things off the internet as easy as you used to be able to do. You just can't. So give her a call. Her number is 602-457-2333. She's rated with the Better Business Bureau. It's legalstuffaz.com. What's wrong, too?
It's a last will package.
Okay. So, we're still live on Facebook, so we're going to keep on talking in here.
Okay.
So, for you, when people want to know, okay, so I'm funky about feeling about having stuff in a vault up in this cloud and all this kind of stuff. Can you tell us how safe that is?
Well, the original documents are actually in the fireproof secure safe in my office complex. So the hard copies will always be there. They're just going to have their digital copies online, so they know exactly what's being stored in the vault. They're going to be able to see if they want to do updates, if they want to do anything. I'll send out quarterly reminders that if you need to make changes, this is where they're at. They'll get a little card in their wallet that says, if something happens to me, my original documents are stored here. Because you don't want to use safe deposit boxes. They're a real pain in the rear to get into for kids or anybody. I mean, it took us a court order to get into one time.
So when we come back, if it's okay, can we just tell that little part there?
Sure.
Because I think it's important.
Sure.
You know, because a lot of people that listen, they're obviously older folks that out there that are thinking that like me, you know, oh my God, well, how does that makes me feel kind of strange? But they got to get used to all of this new way of doing things. But I love the fact that you also, you send out reminders. This is wonderful because most people, they put their papers away. They don't even know where they are. They forget where they are.
They forget, or, you know, even like all of our passwords and everything's electronic. So they forget their passwords. And so kids, you don't get your statements, your bank statements anymore. You don't get anything. So when someone passes, we have no idea because nothing comes in the mail anymore.
Right.
So
I had that happen to me just for my taxes. I went and I turned something in, and the reason why she didn't include something was because there was nothing there. And guess why there was nothing there? Well, first of all, I didn't say anything beforehand. That was the number one problem. But the reason is because I went paperless and I didn't have anything and I didn't even think about it myself. So when it's not there, out of sight, out of mind type of thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you find that it's been very difficult for you in the with all the new fandangled stuff. What's happened makes your life easier, but with everything that happened before, would you say that right now, like to just get into like you said, a safe deposit box?
Oh my gosh, we can't even get death certificates anymore unless you're an immediate family member or a court order. I mean, it's even the daughter of this one, she can't even get a death certificate
wonder
because
you're
on her
so
birth
tired.
certificate.
Well, it's
It
true.
does. I mean,
when you think about it.
It's challenging, but it's fun. It's fun to try. I mean, I will, if I start something, I will find a way. Like those
Well,
spiders,
I
I'll
think
find
that's
a
what
way.
makes you different too. You're sort of like a detective, right? When you're when you have to figure things out. If it's all spelled out, it's one thing. But once you have to you have to look for things, then you have to become the person that's really going to go to the farthest extent.
Right.
So welcome back, everyone. And we're talking with Jennifer Stupski. She's the owner of Legal Stuff, and we've been talking at the break to Facebook Land. And we do want to talk one thing that she said that's really important before we hear about the squatter story, and is about how hard it is for you now that if somebody does not have their legal stuff taken care of. How hard is it for you to get the things that you need?
Well, when things are electronic, we have no idea where things are when we're doing the probates. The kids don't even know half of the time what their parents have or where it's located with electronic bank statements and all that stuff. So, yeah, that's why it's important to store those original documents somewhere.
So you've made it easy. And one of the other things that I love that you said to Facebook Land, that's why I'm saying it now, is that you give everybody every quarterly, you check them out, they get a little card. Tell them about that.
It's just a reminder card that says, hey, don't forget, here's your documents. If you need to make any changes, if you want to take any or add any, that's where they're at.
And then they get a card that they put in their wallet.
Exactly. That says if something happens to me, this is where my original documents are.
This is why.
And I got the idea actually from the state of Arizona because their healthcare power of attorneys, the state of Arizona actually has a depository for copies, not the originals, but copies. So when you do a healthcare power of attorney, you should send it to the state. There's a specific area. They have a database. So if you have to go to the hospital in an emergency, no one can ever find those darn documents when they need them. The hospitals check that depository and they can find your healthcare power of attorney there.
The best thing to do is to call Jennifer. Her phone number is 602-457-2333. It's legalstuffaz.com. We've got our lines open here, and she's giving everybody getting entered in to win. It's a will package. It's a $495 value, free to you or anyone you know. We're letting everyone call throughout the rest of the show. And let me tell you, folks, it has every piece of paper you will need. The documents will be done correctly. They will be notarized, and she'll have them in the EP vault for you, and she'll check you up and make sure that every quarterly you'll be perfectly fine, knowing exactly what's going on. And that's what you want. Our number here, 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. Now, I got to hear about the squatter story.
Well, we have to go back just to the deeds and the power of attorneys.
Go back.
Because part of it, that power of attorney We just ran into a case where a woman had a stroke, and her kids were all fighting about who would be the power of attorney, who would take over stuff, which of course then there's a fight, a legal battle. But before the kids actually got involved, she had a stroke. No, she slipped and broke her hip. And there was another individual, it was a fiduciary that did not act appropriately, and they were actually trying to end run the kids and everybody and get appointed to take over this woman's finances without her even knowing it, because she was under so much medication. It was so bizarre, but those things happen all
These
the time.
things happen all of the time, and it's, you know what, you would die, you'd be rolling over in your grave if you only knew what really happens. Go
It's true.
ahead.
Well, and then we were talking about the squatters, because we had that house, that's, the woman passed away, the mom passed away, the son is mentally disabled, so he was taken to a facility. And there was some bad people in the neighborhood, and they realized that the house is empty, and they start stealing things. They break in, the squatters come in, you can't get them out. It's just insane.
So, why did you want to talk about the squatters so much? Because when they start stealing things, this is what you don't know. And this is what we talked about beforehand. These guys have become extremely smart.
And desperate.
And desperate. They're looking for money, but what they know and you said that these particular squatters, they actually dress up.
They've
and
got
they
the
act like
vest
they've got
of construction workers. So they just tell the neighbors that they were hired to remove items from the house, and they literally just take everything out.
How hard is it once this all happens wait, let me ask you this, because a lot of people are probably sitting there thinking, well, that would never happen to me. How often does it happen?
I mean, it's happened so much, and it's happening a lot more now just because of our economy and the things that are happening in it.
Right.
I've heard of already 4 or 5 cases just in the last 60 days. And when people pass away and their kids or their family members are out of state, and they're not paying attention, and they're not getting things secure.
So you see, this is what's great about the show. Now, I never in my wildest dreams thought about that until you just brought it up, right?
And there's some in nice neighborhoods you would never ever, and you never know. And they sneak in, and they're in those homes, and you don't even know they're there.
You don't know they're there, but the problem is, too, let's explain to them how hard it is to get them out.
It is extremely hard if you don't know the laws and you don't know the process. So if you think there's squatters, call the police right away and don't go by yourself. But you need to secure the house and post the no trespassing signs, because that's your gray line with the police. Squatters, they can only walk around and tell them to leave. If they're trespassing, they can arrest them.
Now, one of the things that you mentioned to us before you came on the show is how they stole these people's documents, and they got all their information, and now it's really hard for you because they have the information and you don't really know what to do on that. I don't know how that works, but that makes this EP vault so much more important. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, because when they break in the house, when nothing's there, you've got bank statements, you've got car titles, you've got everything in that home, social security numbers, and they take it all, and they use it, just like I was saying, they changed car titles, and we're stealing vehicles, and it's just amazing.
When we look at our economy and the way that it is, and it happens not just because our economy is tough, because it also happens during the holidays, and we're right in that time right now. But I think this is a new trend, unfortunately. It is a new trend.
Very unfortunate.
And as far as I know, you have been dealing with the one squatter, I'm almost positive it's the same one, for how long? Like, I want to say almost like, it seems like 6 months at least.
Well, this particular house, it's only been a couple months.
Okay.
But they're smart, and they know that they make up fake leases, and they say that they're leasing a room, and then you have to go through the eviction process, and it's just, every case is different, but they're getting smarter, and it's getting harder and harder to protect things.
So let's talk about the people that might live here and their children don't, okay? And now they pass away, and there's a house that might even be by itself, or maybe you don't pass away, and you're just in the hospital, and everybody thinks everything's okay. Somebody's getting in that house. I mean, what should people do?
Well, a lot of them have the security systems, and that's a good thing. And if they don't, that's the first thing I would do. I would secure the house. I would put up cameras and some kind of security system so you can see what's going on and you know what's happening, or talk to the neighbors.
Mm-hmm. And then what about the paperwork?
Get it all out of there sooner than later, anything personal.
So the first thing is you want to get it done, and you want to get it done correctly. Then once it's done, and Jennifer will take care of you, she's going to have it all in the EP vault for you, and then you will take care of them. What's that look like when you talk to people? Do you do free consultations?
Yes.
Yeah, and so she does a free consultation with you. What you want to know about Jennifer, too, is being that you are a fiduciary. One thing I know about you, and I said it before, when you have something that you need to do, you do get it done. You will make sure that it's done and done correctly.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. And she's A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and this is why. You'll know when you talk to her and how passionate you are about what you do. Really.
I am.
Yeah, I know that.
Protecting those that can't be protected.
So we've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered in to win. This is the will package. Again, tell them what it comes with. You'll say it much faster than I will to have to read it.
You'll get the last will and testament, the durable power of attorney, the healthcare power of attorney, the mental health power of attorney, the living will, which people confuse with the last will, and the beneficiary deed.
So everyone's getting entered in to win. This is a $495 value, free to you or anyone you know. Anyone who's 18 years old on up needs to have one of these. Everyone. And I talked to you about this before. I think a lot of people think that they need to have money to have this. You do not need to have anything. It's all about your wishes, and that's the most important thing. And folks, it's not like the old days anymore, you know, and it's actually become harder, and you need to make sure that you are covered. This is the most important thing, and that your wishes they're carried out. Is that the way to say that?
It is, but you know, we've got so many blended families these days too, and you've got the new wife or husband and the kids from previous marriages, and that's where a lot of the conflict comes in if nothing's done or written up.
So you can give her a call, but call in here first and get yourself entered in to win. It's a $495 value, free to you or anyone you know. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. We're letting everyone call throughout the rest of the show. Anyone that doesn't win, she's giving 30% off. She likes to do that for anyone anyway. But check her out on her website. It's legalstuffaz.com. Again, you can also call her direct. She does do free consultations. Her phone number is 602-457-2333. What are your final words for everybody out there?
Get it done. Don't wait.
Get it done, don't wait. So true. And ladies and gentlemen, please don't put your heads in the sand, I mean. And also, it's hard doing this when you're trying to lean over and talking to a mic. Hi, everybody. But also, I want to say this, too. Anybody that has them and thinks they're done and they're fine, they're probably not. They need to be updated, and they need to be done the correct way, and she's going to help you do that. Her number to call is 602-457-2333. It's legalstuffaz.com.
Yay.